Do you want to know how funding for private placement programs work? You've got to watch this video. I'm Taimour Zaman from LanaCredit.ai. My organization is one of the world-class leaders in helping entrepreneurs and businesses participate in private placement programs that are secure and actually pay out. We are also one of the world-leading organizations in helping companies monetize various banking instruments, as well as helping them access non-recourse as well as recourse loans by working with them and their banks. So the question I got is, Taimour, can you give me an updated version of how the funding for private placement programs work? I have an hour video on this particular topic that I invite you to take a look at, where I do a case study on how $50 million turns into $9 billion, and then I have multiple customer walkthroughs where customers are going through, hey, I have $50 million and I want to get $9 billion with the program directors that offer these kinds of utilities and programs. The first thing I want to say is that I discovered this area because two people in my life, their lives changed out of participating in private placement program, and I myself tried to participate in them not once but twice, and I got frauded. So I understand there's a lot of professional fraud in this industry, unfortunately, that also goes on as well. Funding for private placement programs and how they work, and I'll give you the very high level synopsis of how it works. It was first developed, the whole program was designed at the end of World War II when a US senator wanted funding created so that communism doesn't grow into Europe. So that was the intention behind it when it first got invented, and the idea was, I'm going to use all the wrong words, and I apologize for using the wrong words, but these are kind of like my self-expression. It's about how do you print money out of thin air and invest it in infrastructure projects so that and originally it was in World War II, end of World War II, people could have funding. They needed to build roads, homes, schools, and things like they needed to build like that. And now today, it's a lot of rich people are using it to become ultra rich. At least that's my personal experience of it. And or really great people are using it to get the funding they need for their funding program. So here's how it works. So a banker, it has to be a very, very rich bank. It can be like the no-name bank of Africa, as an example. It has to be a really rich bank. It's usually it has to be extremely cash-rich bank. What they do is they, in a nutshell, go and send up a bunch of contracts. The most popular ones is MTNs, medium-term notes, to buy, let's say, MTNs at a certain price, let's say $100, and then they find buyers who are willing to buy the MTNs for, let's say, $110 or $115. And they get the buy side contract signed, they get the sell side contract signed, and then they go to the bank and say, I have the buy and the sell contract signed, you can see the profit, can you give me a credit facility? And for the credit facility to be created, they need something called depositor. So the depositor is not becoming shareholder of the bank is now selling securities. They're not selling shares of it's not that. They're looking for depositors. So the platforms, the private placement platforms, will reach out to a bunch of brokerages that they know and they trust, private equity firms, hedge funds, and they'll introduce their programs. And then a bunch of brokerages, private equity firms, hedge funds will mention to their clients, and the intention is to bring institutional investors into the program with $100 million or more. And $100 million at the private placement program at that trade desk will become a line of credit for, let's say, $1 billion. With $1 billion, that banker can buy X amount of medium-term notes and sell at X amount, X dollar, let's say $100, and sell for $110 all day long. And that's pretty much how the programs works in a nutshell. That's the 50,000 level of it. How these programs have changed since COVID was a lot of banks, because of COVID, couldn't deploy cash out because it was a recession or whatever was going on, that people were sharing on their businesses. So some of these banks, I'm not going to mention all of them, some banks in Singapore, some banks in Asia, some banks in elsewhere, their amount of capital went exponentially through the roof. And now these banks can and are doing private placement programs and are providing returns that are historically, like, I have never seen these kind of returns. Now, I don't advertise them like that to the public. I don't talk about their returns, but it's just like some historical returns for not so much money as what I can see in my years of experience in this field that I haven't seen before. But it came because there was a COVID event that happened. And just so you guys know, I lost family members that I dearly love and care for COVID. So I'm not a fan of COVID at any imagination. But from a banking perspective, what I've noticed that a lot of banks have cash that has created credit facilities, and banks that I would have never ever seen participate in private placement programs are now running private placement programs and providing returns that are like, seriously, you're doing that? Like that? And I'm jumping in, and I have to say, and I'm jumping in like that. So that's what's new in private placement programs and how they work. My name is Taimour Zaman. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe to it and like it. Thank you so much.
We're just really thankful to even just come across lineofcredit.ai. And Taimour, thank you for giving us ideas as far as what we need to do to get our business acquisitions off the ground, the route that we need to take in negotiating. That way we can hit the ground running. So we definitely appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Will?
Yeah.
Do you see a pathway for making money that you didn't see before the call?
Yeah. And again, I mimic Chinese answer to be able to spend this time with you. And it's like we were a movie star, but at the same time, to be able to sort through this, like hear us say it, but then you can kind of pick stuff out of it by certain things that we said. And then source money that we wasn't even thinking about, or a solution, and now we can go back to the seller and pull money, or let them see it in a way that's really someone who might be risk adverse, and then say, no, this is actually something good, and then we can try that, and then come back, and then actually build a long-term relationship with you and actually help others. So we're very excited with this and working with you and the Rich Uncle platform, and exploring some other financial vehicles as you talk about in your videos. So this is going to be exciting.
Okay, so Richard, who are you and what have you got out of working with me, either on this call or on the materials I provided?
My name is Richard Kane, and I'm working on raising capital for projects throughout Africa, humanitarian infrastructure projects and some renewable energy projects. So I was just recently introduced to the concept of private placement programs, and I'm far from being an expert. So thanks to Taimour, I've been guided along that path, and I now understand the process much better. Thanks for that. And also I'm now familiar with the different routes I can take in moving forward, and also the work I have to do before I can move forward. So I'm really grateful for the time you've spent with me and guiding me in this way, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Thank you.
Awesome.